Well, welcome to you all, and thank you for being in this beautiful place on such a beautiful day. I'm really excited and honored to be speaking with you this morning. Thank you so much to Best NC for continuing year after year to do the hard work of NC Stride, and thanks to those of you also who not only participate in NC Stride, but also participate in the Governor's Drive Task Force. There is a lot of momentum around teacher recruitment and retention efforts in North Carolina right now, and I'm excited to be here today to advocate for some of that work. So there are over 100 stakeholders who are convened today to have meaningful discussions around teacher recruitment and retention. And your participation in this conversation is incredibly important and a testament to the importance of this topic. As a former teacher and as the state superintendent, I firmly believe that one of the best investments we can make to better education in our state is for thoughtful and strategic solutions to the challenges that we've all been trying to address for decades. And as Brenda introduced me as a former teacher, I am a former teacher but not a former administrator because I did not want to go into administration. I wanted to stay in the classroom. And when those opportunities were not available to me, I found another way to stay in education and to stay in the classroom as a coach, but that did mean that I left the classroom. So as you just heard in the previous panel, the panelists made such a strong case for re-examining and reshaping our current teacher recruitment strategy, such as it is. But also, it's not just about recruitment and retention, it's also about how we prepare, license, and support our teachers. And these panelists are not alone in their thoughts. So over the last decade, there has been consistent feedback from our educators, principals, and teachers about the need to reimagine the profession and specifically the professional experience of teachers. We talk a lot about the need to treat teachers as the professionals that they are. And you saw in the video with Chad Beam, we do have highly effective teachers who cannot stay in the profession due to what are inflexible licensure requirements. And while his story had a happy ending, not all do. And as part of the State Board of Education, I am privy to those stories every month that do not have a happy ending. So all of these challenges build on top of one another, and they end up restricting the quality, the quantity, and the diversity of our teaching workforce. And that is not good for our kids. Reality shows us that we have a challenge worthy of our utmost time and attention, which is why you are all here today. And there is no simple solution, again, that can resolve what really are decades of problems overnight. So I'm proud to be one of many policy leaders and educators who are working day and night to identify solutions and, when possible, to weave them together into some kind of comprehensive system of support for not just teachers, but teacher candidates and especially our new teachers. So here's a few of the ideas that are top of mind with my team and with other education policy colleagues, all of who have converged following a wide range of critical conversations and initiatives over the last several years. Let's take a look.
We must ensure that each student has access to a sound basic education. Our Constitution demands it. That means doing better at attracting teachers and keeping them with higher pay and more respect for them and their profession.
I think one of the biggest challenges that we have, and where right now things are ripe for finding solutions, is how do we make the teaching profession something that young people see themselves going into. I think that younger generations, millennials, Gen Z, they want to have opportunities for advancement. They want to take on more responsibility. They want to see that their pay is going to grow with their responsibility. So I think that's where I see the biggest opportunities coming. Yes, we need to pay teachers more money. But I absolutely think that we need to recognize that some teachers take on greater responsibilities and that largely this is volunteer work for them right now when they should be compensated for this work.
If we are successful in recruiting more teachers for our state's classrooms, our schools would be completely staffed with well-prepared teachers who can be successful in advancing student achievement. Through the work at our 9 lab schools, we will be able to develop and test innovative teaching practices for use by teachers all throughout the state. Our public school classrooms will have teachers who look like the students they teach. Our public schools will continue to partner with our universities to provide support for teachers already in the classroom. And if we set the right conditions, well-prepared teachers who are supported in their classrooms, we will hopefully see more people who will want to go into the profession and make a difference in the lives of so many.
If I had been told when I was in high school, I really think you should be a teacher, then I know that I would have taken that track immediately. I didn't. I went around. But if we look at a high school student and we start recruiting them from that early age and having them in their minds know that I can do this, I can be a teacher, maybe bring them on as tutors first, make them realize that they can and have that gift. And if they are students that we know represent the backgrounds and the different cultures in the state of North Carolina, and we target them early and then we guide them all the way through their EPP and beyond, then we know that we will have those effective teachers that reflect the backgrounds and all the different cultures that we have in the state of North Carolina.
As I have been in this profession for a number of years, I steadily see lower and lower numbers of beginning teachers who have come through a traditional pathway to education. And we also know that the attrition rate for non-traditional candidates is much higher than for those who have come through a traditional program. And so I think that being able to address the full spectrum of challenges from compensation to licensure to working conditions and all of that has to be a statewide effort for North Carolina.
So the state board is working on this licensure effort, but there are other opportunities for us to better support teachers, and that is integrating ongoing professional development throughout the course of a teacher's career with the preparation at the early stage of their career. One other great development in the world of teaching has been this advanced teaching roles, which has been proven to be a positive program not only for teachers in creating greater skills and confidence and reward in their profession, but also creating greater outcomes for our students.
So when I think of innovation, when I think about how do we get teachers into the education pipeline, we have to think about alternative pathways. Not every student, when they go through high school, knows they want to be a teacher. Some may discover that later as either they move through their college education or as they move through another career. We have to think about those alternative pathways. How can we provide students with the opportunity to get the education and the training they need to be successful teachers? And then how do we get them into the classroom in the communities where they've grown up, where they have family, and where they're invested so that they can give back to that community through their teaching career.
As we think about solutions, I think one of the areas we need to focus upon is the challenge that our students have in their internships, formerly student teaching. That is a challenge for so many of our students. Among our independent colleges and universities, 50% of our North Carolina students are Pell eligible. That means they and many other students have work-study jobs, which they then have to stop as they come into the classroom, because they're taking courses during that time, but they're also, as almost everyone knows, have more than a full-time job as they are in their internships. We don't provide any support for those interns the way that clinicals do in health sciences fields, and that means it's very difficult for students to be able to choose to do their internship. And certainly we know that with the shortage, many school systems are hiring students before they do that internship. Yet we know that it's critical for those teachers, new teachers, to be able to work with mentors and to be able to have that opportunity to learn before they have the entire responsibility of a classroom.
One of the key things I would love to see more of, we've got some great best practices underway, but I would love to see us in all of our high schools have a Grow Your Own program. And we know that especially in our rural parts of the state, people are committed to their local communities. And if we can get people invested and want to be teachers, stay in their local communities, we've got wonderful community colleges, 2+2 programs that feed into our 4-year UNC or independent colleges and universities. And then they can come back and enter into the teaching profession right there and care about their own local community and continue to see that education is an opportunity for all. This is the future for our children.
So there's no shortage of great ideas out there and emerging practices which, when aligned, can transform education in North Carolina through better support of teachers. It's no coincidence that the State Board of Education's strategic plan, my own Operation Polaris, and the court-ordered comprehensive remedial plan all have an intentional commitment to creating a system of teacher recruitment and ongoing support that ensures all students have access to excellent teachers. The starting point for a conversation about the teacher experience is our licensure system. And this is because it impacts every aspect of an educator's career. It affects their preparation, development, advancement, and compensation. Licensure and the related ways teachers receive professional development and feedback should clearly signal that we value great teaching and aspire to help each teacher achieve professional success. And if you want to have a sidebar conversation about challenges in the teacher professional development and observation process, I'm happy to have that conversation with any of you offline. Yet today, our state's licensure system does not contribute to teachers' growth. And this adversely impacts student outcomes and leaves many teachers feeling neglected. Our state's current licensure system provides too few supports to early career teachers, too few supports, and little assistance in developing educators' teaching skills, and no opportunity for educators to expand their reach while they increase their compensation. For these reasons and many more, reform is necessary. I will say it again. Reform is necessary. The State Board of Education has determined that redesigning the state's licensure system is essential to delivering a sound basic education to all of North Carolina students. And this is why the Professional Educator Preparation and Standards Commission, aka PEPSI, began its work over a year ago to draft the Pathways to Excellence for Teaching Professionals. The vision that anchors this work is simple: to increase access to effective educators for all North Carolina students through a licensure system that better supports teachers throughout their careers, both financially and professionally, and to retain teachers who are creating great outcomes for students. The reasons why this work must be carried out are critical. We must reimagine licensure, professional development, and compensation in a way that, first, invites a more diverse population into the profession, that offers individualized professional growth opportunities to teachers at every phase of their career, encourages the best teachers to lead from within the classroom, provides competitive compensation that allows a teacher to earn more earlier in their career, and then their pay grows substantially as they expand their professional impact. And most importantly, supports student success. As you'll hear in the next panel, the current conceptual model is a work in progress. And the next draft will be discussed at Pepsi this week after more than a year of subcommittee meetings. Continued design work will require multiple phases over many years, including proof of concept, field testing, and a test and learn approach that will allow us to refine the model as well as its specific components. Following the design phase, the implementation period will also take several years in continuous, ongoing feedback from educators and other stakeholders. I am confident that this work will result in a world-class system in support of teachers. I have that confidence because I believe that we are all committed to moving towards a solution that will imagine a bright future, a future that allows us to support teachers through better compensation and advancement opportunities, a future that allows us to better support the growth and development of early career teachers, a future that allows us to sustain the pipeline long term because people are eager to become teachers in our state, a future that gives both our educators and our students what they deserve. We are fortunate that all of you here today and many others are working to ensure that our students receive the very best education possible. Thank you for allowing me to be here with you today and for all you do to support North Carolina's public school system.